Hey, how's it going? So for my daily devices, I use a MacBook Pro in 2021, an iPad Pro, and an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Most of my day-to-day consists of a split between, doing a lot of meetings, programming, and a bit of design on the side. For those meetings, I use a Sony Alpha 6400 with a 16mm Sigma Prime lens. I do have an Elgato prompter to make it look like I'm looking at you instead of a screen off to the side. And I use a blue Yeti mic, a Yeti X. I also use a Logi Lytra Glow for a little bit of extra light. And when the meetings are a little bit less interesting, I have a little Tetris micro cart on my desk off screen. Don't tell anyone. When it comes to software, let's take a look at the dock left to right first. First and foremost, I use Arc as a browser. I'm the type of person that doesn't really do more than 5 tabs open at a time, or I'm losing my mind. So Arc's organization tools for renaming tabs, making folders, having spaces has really been a game changer for my productivity in that space. Although I do have to admit, tabs that go to a different space go there to die and then get deleted anyways after a long while. For the basics, mail, calendar reminders, I use the Apple standard apps. I have tried every new calendar app that comes out. I love experimenting with them. But at the end of the day, I always find myself coming back to the default ones, as they basically do what I need them to do and nothing more, right? They're very basic. At Directus, we use Notion for note taking. In meetings, we have a bunch of different teams and a bunch of documents. It's a bit unstructured, but that's kind of the beauty of Notion. And we use Linear for task management. So Linear, think of it as GitHub Issues as a separate app, which has really elevated our productivity in especially the product team. Then we use Slack for communication with the team internally, and we use Discord for communication with the larger community of users of Directus. When I'm programming, similarly to calendar apps, I've tried various different apps. I recently tried Zed. I've been using some of the JetBrains stuff. I've been on Coda 2 way back in the day when that was a thing. I've tried Nova. I always come back to VS Code for the last couple of years. I've set that up very customized. I'm one of the weird ones that does it in light mode with a 3-tab space setting. And I use iTerm on the side because I cannot deal with the built-in terminal. Just a personal preference thing. For debugging databases, I'm a huge fan of TablePlus. So TablePlus is kind of PHPMyAdmin as a native app, but they support effectively every database under the sun, which is very, very nice. So you have to learn the tool once, and then you can just use it, which is great for raw database management. So direct, columns or insertions into databases. On the flip side of that, I use Rapid API, previously known as Paul, as an API debugging tool. So it's kind of similar to Postman or Hopscotch or some of those tools, but as a Mac native app. I'm still a UX designer at heart, so apps looking nice is a huge reason for me to use them over something else. Then we use Figma for all the design files. I am a very big fan of FigJam as well for quick notes and figuring out projects and doing more product design or user experience design. And then last but not least, we have Reader and Ivory. So Reader is an RSS feed reader. I use that to stay up to date with a bunch of blogs and personal blogs that I like to follow for any news in the tech industry or improvements to the web platform or any other interesting developments. And I use Ivory as my client for the Fediverse. So I'm part of the Fosstodon server right now, and I try to follow, again, interesting people on the internet. And then last but not least, in the dock, there's Spotify. I always got music playing. I mostly listen to everything, is what I'm realizing now. There's a lot of pop-punky stuff in there. There's a lot of alt-rock in there. And there's a little bit of pop sometimes, if I just want to focus a little bit and not care about music. Sometimes I have my own stuff on repeat to get the numbers up, because you got to game the system a little bit. Outside of the dock, I am a huge fan of a new app that just came out from Sindre called Scratchpad, which is just a little icon in your menu bar. The only thing it does is it just opens a tiny note and it goes away when you click it again. So it's just great for a quick, in the middle of a meeting, I have to jot something down, I don't know where it goes. I need to have something to write in within a split second. Fantastic for that. I use 1Password for all of the password management. Couldn't do without. Use CleanShot for screenshots and screen recordings. Highly recommend that one. That is one I cannot do without nowadays. And then the main thing that I install on every machine every time is called Paste. So it's a clipboard manager, similar to the reasoning behind Rapid API. It's a Mac native thing. It feels like it was designed by Apple, and I'm sure they get shirked at some point, and I'd be sad when that happens. Right. What else? What else do we have here? Oh yeah, for the hobby stuff. Sorry. Outside of work, I like to write and play a lot of music. So one thing I have right off of my desk here is just there's an acoustic guitar sitting ready to go at any moment. You see, of course, some guitars on the wall. There's too many in my apartment here. For that, on the computer, I use Logic Pro to record through my Line 6 HX Stomp XL as an interface. And other than that, what do we got going on in here? Oh, yeah. Last little desk gadgets. I brought it up before. I have a little Tetris micro card. I don't know if they still make them, but this gets used a little bit too much in the day. Great way to take a little break. I have an analog Nixie clock sitting here on my desk as a way to keep the time, as if that's not a thing on my computer. And one sort of guilty pleasure that I thought it was going to be stupid, but I cannot do without nowadays, is an Ember mug. They're the most... Again, when I bought it, I thought it was going to be stupid as hell, and now I'm hooked. So recommend one of those as well. I have a little Belkin wireless charger to prop my phone up, and a Sonos on the desk for all of the music that I previously mentioned. And I think that's everything I have around me.